Hello everyone and welcome to Devils United. This is the preview for Manchester United versus Everton. Hello everyone and welcome back to Devils United for another preview. I've got Chloe and I've got Andy. How are we both?
Good. Another preview. The way you said that was quite. Another preview. So many games.
Because I'm with the same brilliant people.
I'm rocking the vintage top tonight. That's not our vintage, is it? But it was probably the better one that before we saw obviously what Chloe's wearing, the third kit for this season.
Yes, and I'm wearing the away kit for this season as well. How are you, Chloe?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me back on, Maisy.
Pleasure to have you on, and welcome to everyone who's already in the live chat. Niall, Garrett, Nippon, and Rabbit. I hope you are all well as well. So, Manchester United are taking on Everton at Old Trafford. For you, Chloe, what does that mean to you to come to Old Trafford and watch a game?
It's probably if you've never been, it's probably once in a lifetime opportunity because you never know if a women's game's going to happen again there. Especially your club, Man United, and obviously it's going to be the opening game for the Euros, which is great. Great to know. So some of the girls are going to get that experience in playing at Old Trafford ahead of the Euros. So I think it's like I said, it's a dream come true for a lot of people that haven't been to Old Trafford, and it's a dream come true to people who don't get to go to Old Trafford a lot, who haven't got a season ticket, who can't afford tickets to go to the men's game. But to know that we've got a lot of the girls who support Manchester United and their dream is to play at the Theatre of Dreams, I think that's the main thing for us. And I think we've said, or I've said it with Andy and a few others, that there's going to be a lot of tears from both the fans and from the players, and I think that's going to be an emotional. It's going to be an emotional day, and it's not. I don't think it's ever going to surpass anyone's expectations of how brilliant it's going to be. And we hopefully we'll be able to get higher tickets within the next coming days, and that's the main thing. We want to beat that record. But
yes,
I have seen a lot from United in promotion and stuff, but I haven't seen a lot through Everton's promotion side. And I think the only bits I've seen is that they've advertised the tickets for Everton, and they've advertised the free travel for Everton. And I've not seen much from the men's side for Everton about the game at Old Trafford. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a great game, a great occasion for us all, and United's going to win there.
Yeah, definitely 100%. Hey there to Static as well. Thank you for tuning in. And for you, Andy, how do you feel like that atmosphere is going to be at Old Trafford? Do you feel like we know what the atmosphere is like already at Leeds Sport Village, but do you feel like, considering the environment and the place where we're at, the atmosphere could go from 0 to 100 very quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, it's just building a little bit more than that question. What Chloe was saying there, I've never been to Old Trafford, so it's my first time, and I think from what I've seen on TV, and obviously, it is the spirit. It is the home of Man United. I think the whole point of playing at Old Trafford was to show that the United women's team is part of the club, and that it is it is an integral part of the club. And I think the atmosphere. I mean, again, it will struggle a little with it being a 12:30 kickoff, because we get that a little bit at Lee. But if we're looking at a minimum of 25,000, it will probably settle to about 35,000. I think we'll make some great noise. I think it will be a very strong atmosphere, and hopefully it'll have a bit of a sort of party atmosphere. I mean, personally, I would have liked a stronger opponent. It would have been nicer if we had a stronger a bit of like bite to the game. So a Chelsea or an Arsenal or whatever. But I do also know the logic of you really don't want to lose at Old Trafford either. So I think that's maybe why Everton was picked. And to be fair, when this game was announced, I was a bit too honest there. Well, when this game was announced, to be fair, it was around the Everton away game, which was before Christmas, and Everton were in the top half of the table. So it only looks like a much weaker opposition because of how they've nosedived since then. But I think it'll be a great atmosphere, and I really hope that people do realise that like Chloe said, it's a great opportunity to go to Old Trafford. It's a great opportunity to experience Old Trafford. But it's also what the girls deserve, and I do think it's going to be the first of many games at Old Trafford, at least one a season, I think, for the next few years.
Yeah, definitely. I think Old Trafford is definitely a ground that the women should enjoy as well as the men's team, and I think especially if we get into Champions League football, we should be having some of our Champions League nights at Old Trafford as well, because we all know as a Manchester United fan what it's like. Old Trafford nights, the atmosphere, what it could be when it comes to 5 minutes before the end of the game, and then you've got a last minute ball going in and you're 0-0. It's then kind of atmospheres what are the best kind of atmospheres, and I love Champions League nights at Old Trafford more than anything. So that is something what I would want as well, more games at Old Trafford, not just in the WSL, but if we got into the Champions League, that would be another one for me. Chris, Mikel Arteta and Paul was in the chat as well, so thank you all for getting into the chat too. Before we do go on too, I wanted to show everybody what Old Trafford is currently looking like, because at this moment, because the Old Trafford has been done specifically for the Manchester United women game. They've done it all up here so we can see. All the boards have changed, and as you can see, all our players are there on each board. So we've seen all the different times of Manchester United, of Cristiano Ronaldo. We have seen Rio Ferdinand, etc. on these boards. But Manchester United have changed it all to put all our players on them boards there. So on the Old Trafford itself, they do have their banner of the Manchester United women team. Looking at this for you, and what do you think about that?
It's brilliant, it's brilliant. But again, I can't help but see on Twitter, it brings so much, yet it takes so much away from life. Women's football journos, where are you? I mean, Rich Laverty has finally given us some praise for it. There's some others that have now praised for it. But I haven't seen that done at the Emirates. I haven't seen that done at Stamford Bridge. I haven't seen that done at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think a lot of people, and also non-journalists as well, I think a lot of people are quick to criticise Man United as playing lip service to the women's game. It might be a nice turn of phrase, but it's not true. And just putting the players, in position like that, I think it just shows the importance of it. Even if they get removed the next couple of weeks or whatever for the next big Man United game or for the men or anything like that, I don't think it even matters. And I even saw on Twitter today a rather interesting exchange. Someone who was upset that it didn't actually contain like all the details on how to purchase the tickets on the actual poster. It's a poster, not a novel. Like, there's there's a thing called Google, and like I've got one here. It's a mobile phone. So like, if you were there and you're like, do Man United have a women's team? Let me have a look. Oh, they do. Oh, bloody hell! They're playing on Sunday. That's all you need. It achieves that, doesn't it? So anyway, it should be obvious I'm referring to on Twitter, but I think people can get a bit too excitable. Really, I think they're great images. They look brilliant, and just let's just congratulate United for that. Really.
Yeah. Just me beyond the horizon. Thank you for tuning into the channel as well. I looked at it because a lot of people were saying throughout this season, because we knew ages ago that we were going to be playing at Old Trafford. Man United hasn't promoted the Old Trafford game, and if we really want to sell tickets, we should be promoting this. And up to a degree, I completely agreed with that, because we never seen it on the new TV. We didn't see it advertised at the men's game. Didn't hardly see it advertised at all that we was playing at Old Trafford in a couple of weeks' time. But to see that Man United has been able to decorate Old Trafford now, specifically for the women's game, and promote it like this, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And for you, Chloe, what did you think of all this for what Manchester United has done? Do you think they have promoted the game well in the end?
Yeah, I do. I think they've promoted it better than I expected. With the way that they've done they've got the photos of the girls. They've put a massive photo of the girls on Old Trafford, which that's a big deal. I know it says Adidas, and it looks like it's some of the girls that are sponsored by Adidas or wear the Adidas boots, but it's our girls. It's our girls representing the club on Old Trafford. And I think it's another thing that I saw on Twitter. It's what's going to happen after the game. Where the billboard's going to go. I would like to see them at the Sports Village, because that's where we play, and I think that would be good to have them located somewhere at the Sports Village for fans that can't make the game to have pictures with them, whether it be for a couple of games or until the end of the season. At least fans have seen it, and I think to see them in person, to see the billboards in person instead of on Twitter, on Instagram, it's going to be a big deal for a lot of fans to be able to get that photo opportunity with the posters, or even just like to take the pictures of them. It's going to be a massive deal. And I think for the girls to know that they're got a picture at Old Trafford and they're doing all this promoting for them, I think it's a massive deal. And I don't think they could have expected the amount of publicity and promotion it's been getting. And I don't think for the likes of the youngsters, so Tooney in our squad, Lesser, Carrie Jones, and then obviously all the other United girls that are United fans as well. So you've got your Diane Cardwell, your Jackie Groenen. They won't have expected this when they've been growing up to be a footballer. They've dreamed of playing at Old Trafford, but to get that opportunity and to get that publicity for that game and for this game, it's huge. And I think as well, it's a big deal that their families could potentially come over and watch their daughters' dreams come true. And I think what I think as well is, I think journalists and people who don't follow the women's game and who don't follow United haven't seen us build around at these girls, and to see us bring in girls who support the club for their dreams to come true, and them dreams are coming true now. And I just hope that we can get that publicity building up towards the game on Sunday, and it can increase and increase, and hopefully even Everton might up their standards and increase it for them as well. Because, like I said previously, I haven't seen Everton men once promote it for the women's game at Old Trafford.
But yeah, I mean Everton play in a park though. Let's remember that for a fact.
No.
But no, I mean I agree. I mean I think, to be honest, I've just been looking at some stats there. Obviously, Old Trafford is the 11th biggest stadium in Europe and the biggest club stadium in the UK. So, that answers the first question from your professional moaners you get online. Why haven't Man United played at Old Trafford? Because it's hard to get to a point with the amount of people in there that makes it look not too empty. And, and if we get, and the current capacity of Old Trafford at the minute is, I believe, 74,140. So if we get about 35,000, that will break the record for the women's game, but it will still be half full. And I think that, the reason why Old Trafford is so big and will get bigger, of course, with the proposed expansion is because United is such a special club and such a big club in the men's. And I think we know that Skinner and his team is looking to grow the women's team to become one of the biggest clubs, in Europe in relation to the women's game as well. And I think then that might link better to the comment you've got on the screen there, Maisy.
Yes.
I think really, when we got to a stage, I mean, Lee holds 12,000. So if we were selling that out on a regular basis, we might then make a move to a more frequent move at Old Trafford, which would still be relatively empty at 15, 20,000. But it would show that it was about to make its way up there. I know at the minute it's awkward when, I'm not watching, obviously the Arsenal game will be on tonight. I think when they played Barcelona last time,
15,000.
It didn't look particularly brilliant. So hopefully, as I say, I think we're going to have a much better experience than other clubs have had in their main stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of clubs that already do that, don't they? Because at the moment we know that Birmingham are already doing it because they play their games at home at the actual home ground, and Reading do as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Though I have heard on the grapevine, and this is another reason why, you need to remember how supportive Man United are, is that Birmingham are all but down. And I've had it on good authority that if they do go down to the Championship, that will cease next season. They will play at a different ground.
Yes. A few more people have entered the chat. Hey there to Rich from Eagle Eyed Football, and hello to Norman. Thank you for tuning into the chat. There's already been quite a few questions what's already been asked whilst we was talking about our Old Trafford, us playing at Old Trafford. But Ravi has got a question here regarding the game, because I know last time we did play against Everton, we did get caught out in the second half. Not a particular memory none of us want to re-raise, but it did also happen last game. And for this question from Ravi, for me, I say yes, we can get a decent win. And I think knowing that we're at Old Trafford as well makes a whole lot of difference. When you're at Old Trafford, I'd say the standards will probably raise massively. And the girls will want to get this win because of where they are, without, of course, whoever they're playing against, because Everton as well is technically our rival team in the WSL after City. So I think, yes, we can get a win without getting caught out. We've had it before with Brighton, Aston Villa. It's just that we haven't had a particular good run recently, and we've had quite a lot of injuries, but a couple of these players are coming back now, so we should be able to be a bit more better in our squad depth, because the last game we only had 4 or 5 players on the bench, and that's how many subs you can make. So that wasn't particularly helpful. But same question for you there, Andy. Do you agree with me there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sigma Brunn is going to be back, apparently, as is Hayley Ladd. Hayley Ladd is pivotal to our midfield. Both in reality and I think psychologically, the girls just feel better when she's there. She's a strong DM. She provides that sort of comfort link between the defence which obviously is quite thin on the ground with Aoife Mannion's long-term injury and Millie Turner still being out. She provides a bit of comfort for the defence, I think, and should be great, I think, at Old Trafford. Now, I think, to be honest, everyone's going to feel, I think you're going to have that 10%, that 20% of wanting to score. I mean, we joke that, that Jackie's going to score at Old Trafford. I mean, it'd be great if it did, apart from anything else, because Nat, who's a big fan, big member of the supporters group, has said that she'll get a tattoo of the date that Jackie scores. So that's something that'll be interesting to see. But I think it's going to be one of them. And also, as well, I don't know if people are aware, it's Mr. Mark Skinner, the unreliable boyfriend himself. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Mark Skinner. I might put that on a banner. I might put that on a banner just for Mark Skinner.
But happy birthday, Mark. I know you'll be doing anything but watch me right now. But I should be interested to see what happens on...
Love it, Maisy.
What do you think, Amanda?
That's great. It'd be great to see him on Sunday, and hopefully the girls can give him a late birthday present.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And it's good that you have touched on a little bit with these couple of people coming back, because Maria was ill, if that was COVID or if that was just an illness, we don't know, but she's back, which is great. So we do actually have a centre back to come alongside us again, alongside Diane. Mannion, who a lot of people is the fans' favourite, she does have an ACL injury, so it won't be a while until we do see her again. So we are wishing Mannion all the best and hopefully a speedy recovery there, because she is definitely missed on the Manchester United pitch. For Gary's point here, we don't have any grass technology in the women's game, so I'm not too sure. I don't think it will make any difference because we don't have any technology at this moment in time. But Norman does have a good question here regarding fitness, because of a couple of players coming back. Hayley Ladd's been out since the last international break. Jade Moore, she come back, but she played as a substitute for a debut. She looks a little bit rusty for me, but I think she just needs a bit of game time. And, of course, Brun's coming back if she's going to start. Not too sure, but I think it's a very good question raised by Norman. But for you, Chloe, do you think fitness could be a problem?
Yes and no. I think we've got the squad where we've got fitness in control, where we've got a potential starting 11. And, some may have only just come back from injury. But if she's been ill or, like you said, with COVID, she'd have had 5 days out and then come straight back in. So hopefully her fitness is back and is back hopefully to full. So we can see her centre back with Diane in the game. And then obviously we've got Brun, who hopefully, I don't know the extent of it, what her injury was like, but I think it was a hamstring, I think. But obviously that's kept her out for a few weeks. So for her to be able to come back and be able to play like at Old Trafford, I think will be a dream come true. Because again, she's a United fan at heart. This is a dream come true. And we've got her on loan from Lyon, and they're in the Champions League, and she's took this opportunity to, instead of playing Champions League, to come and play for us. And now she's getting that. Hopefully, she'll get that opportunity to play in front of a crowd and to play at Old Trafford. So I think her fitness will be ready. And I also think Hayley Ladd has got to this stage, like you said, she was out from the last international duty, which was a good couple of months, nearly. And I think she's been working hard. She's been fighting hard to get to this point for playing at Old Trafford. And I think that's where the main fitness part comes into it, because they've worked so hard. The fitness are going to be at a high standard. And like I said, we've got a good high standard of fitness, but it's who he starts. Does he bring the girls that are only just coming back from injury straight away in? I think he will do with 4 because it's an illness, not an injury. But with Hayley Ladd and with Brun, do you start them straight away, or do you bring them on as impact subs and ease them into the game for fitness, for the regime of fitness? So, what do you think, Andy?
I think we've got a problem because of what happened in West Ham. We've got to win every game we've got left, up to and including, hopefully, Chelsea. I think you're going to have to trust your physio department. I think you need, hopefully, the fact it's been a week and a half means that it's less of a risk than if it was 7 days ago. When the game's played, obviously, a week and a half, it was with West Ham. I think that at the end of the day, this is going to be the pivotal game. We play well at Old Trafford to get the win against Everton, hopefully with a large goal difference. That's my hope, because again, I didn't get Mark a birthday card, but if I did, I would sort of put on it the words goal difference just to let him know what the word means, because I think sometimes he forgets. Because possible banana skin against Brighton, because they're absolutely awful 80% of the year, but then occasionally they play really well, and there's just hope that they don't play really well against us at the beginning of April. And then obviously you got Villa away, West Ham at home, which hopefully will be a bit of a grudge match. And then if Chelsea gets sold, well, the game will go ahead, whether or not we can see it or not. If Chelsea gets sold, we'll be able to see it, but Chelsea away. And I think we need anything but a win is not acceptable on Sunday.
I agree. And Rich and Brush, thank you for tuning in. I do definitely agree with that, because when you look at the table in itself, because there's only 12 teams in the league, so every single game matters. One game you drop, that could be the difference between a title, a Champions League spot, and being relegated. That makes a whole lot of difference, because the table is very, very narrow. I'm looking at it mathematically, not just us who are competing for Champions League football. There's Manchester City, there's Reading there as well. West Ham are even competing mathematically for this spot. And I agree that we do need to win every single game. And really, if we got that West Ham win last week, we could have even argued to say, well, if we got a draw against Chelsea, it'll be okay. But knowing that we've already got this draw now against West Ham, it feels like, yes, we need to get these 3 points off Chelsea, but we need to look at these advantages to think, well, if Chelsea have these games because they're still in the FA Cup, they've got a postponed game with Tottenham, so they might play a couple more games than what they should be playing. So they could be putting out their reserve kind of team. So we might not see the likes of Sam Kerr or Kirby. Man City have still got a couple of games there as well in the FA Cup and also in the league. And Tottenham the same, they're in the FA Cup. Arsenal's in the FA Cup and the Champions League. So there is going to be that point where they're not going to play the same team week in, week out, especially if they're going to be playing them 2 games. But regarding the players, for me, the only player who I can see who's injured, who's going to come straight back in, will be Hayley Ladd, because we need Hayley Ladd's presence on that pitch. It just feels like when Hayley Ladd doesn't play, the balance isn't always there for me compared to when she is there, because she, just as Andy's touched on, she is that deep kind of playmaker, and we need that kind of presence to allow Katie Zellum to go forward, knowing she's a box-to-box. If you play Bo Risa there, if you play Jackie, it just allows more freedom for whoever's in that pivot to go to have that more freedom. And Ravi had a question in regards to United's defence. We do have a couple of injuries in defence. We've got 2 centre-backs out. We do have a full-back out there as well of Kirsty Smith at the moment. But she isn't our first choice fullback. We do usually play Honor and Hannah Blundell. So in terms of Kirsty Smith, I would like to see her more games, but I don't think she probably would have been starting because of with it being at Old Trafford anyway. But if that was the case and we did need another fullback, we could always go to the reserves and ask for Niamh Murphy, who I think is a very, very good fullback, and she does deserve to have that starting spot at Manchester United. But I do believe our defence is strong, and when we work more well together, knowing that Diane and Maria just gets more and more games together, which they are doing, it'll only just get stronger and stronger each game, if you agree, Andy.
Yeah, and obviously if we can get a Champions League at the end of the year, then, we are going to hopefully get even more strength and depth in all areas. We might get that sort of other fullback or centre-back, depending on what's going on with Honor. You've heard a lot of options are going to get exercised as well, so we should hopefully be able to keep a lot of people. The fullback situation, I agree. Some of us were Chloe was as well. We're at the Devs game on Sunday against City, where was it 6-1 in the end? I think we lost count.
Yeah, 6-1.
And all right, that's a different level completely, but there are certain players that stick out as ready. Rebecca May, Niamh Murphy. But there is a big gap, as you've discussed before on your show, Maisy. Yes. There's no, unlike the men's where you've got under 18, under 21, under 23, and the first team. In the women's, you've got basically, I think it's literally under 16s, and then Devs, and then the first team. So it's a bigger jump between the Devs and the first team. I think Niamh Murphy would be one to do it. Will he put her in at Old Trafford as a starter? I don't know.
No, I don't think it'd be Old Trafford. If he was going to take the risk, it could be the likes maybe of Aston Villa in a couple of weeks' time.
I think you're talking about the fullback sort of weak element to that. But the one thing I would say as well, she is a player of ours, so we do support her. But I do wonder what the point is of Martha Harris at the moment if you're not going to play her. So she's technically a fullback. So, if you did want to give a rest or try and manage, manage the workload a little bit of Hannah Blundell, or we wouldn't really need to manage on her because she's at the level. But, in relation to the actual, defence, I'm not really sure why she's not playing if she's fit.
Yeah, she is definitely a confusing one for me, isn't it, Martha Harris?
I think she's probably going to be the first candidate that may get transferred in the summer, along with a couple of others. But and I think also as we just look as we're going back on that, I think we were just seeing before that we were referencing Chelsea earlier. Rob Harris of the Associated Press is reporting that Chelsea have had their license amended that away fans can now come and watch games against Chelsea. So hopefully that means that I get the distinct pleasure of driving 250 miles to London and hopefully this time not be crying on the way home, which I can neither confirm nor deny, and get home at 3 a.m.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
That's very true.
So true. So true.
That is all I'm going to say. To Rich's comment, I haven't been aware that we are partnered with HGT, but maybe soon we might be able to do that there as well. Rich, how good are Everton? All I'm going to say is poo.
Yeah, Everton were basically last season, they were essentially the 4th, 5th place team, generally.
Yeah.
Now, we can find out exactly where they're up to now. Now they've dropped massively.
They're currently in 9th place and they're losing against Man City 1-0 as it stands.
2-0 now.
2-0 now. Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they haven't got a permanent manager. They play in a park. They, at the end of the day, they tried. Everyone's conveniently forgotten as they're putting the heat on Man United, but they did play a game at Goodison Park at the beginning of the season, and they obtained a grand total. It's a shame you haven't got like a drum sort of sound effect here for me, Maisy. 5,000 fans, which is so. If we had 5,000 fans at Old Trafford, that would be a story in itself. But obviously, unfortunately, they're struggling a lot more than we are.
Yeah, and Chloe, would you like to describe what the Everton ground is like as well? Because I know we mentioned it was a bit of a park, but would you like to describe it a little bit so we'd be able to tell the viewers?
So it's Wharton Hall Park. It is.
I love how you say it with a straight face. It is a park. I'm not even being bitchy. It is actually a park.
Like what Andy says, it's a park. It's
On a hill.
On a hill, and it's literally got one whole stand, and then the rest have to stand around the pitch.
Exactly.
It's not what you'd think for Everton. Put it that way. You'd think Everton would have a better ground with being in the top tier, but.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, the game at Goodison was actually against Manchester City, who they're playing right now.
Yes, they are at this moment.
And I think they beat them, didn't they? Did Everton beat City?
Massively. They got another way around. City
beat Everton. That was their first win, wasn't it, of the season for City?
I mean, I'll take your word for it.
I think.
And what I'm going to do, because I'm so generous, I'm going to give Andy this question about the rest, because I know that is Andy's favourite topic when it comes to refs in the WSL.
Well, you were on the show as well with our other channel, Only One United, and we had a deep dive on it, but I'm a bit more unleashed here, so I can be a bit more. No, I mean, they're awful, basically, because they're the same people, but they're lower down the pyramid. So basically, Rich, for the Premiership and Championship, get the professional refs, the ones that get paid, as we found out on Friday, between £70,000 and £250,000 a year. And then League One, League Two, obviously, and then National League in the men's game. The highest level ref that the women can get, including for games like Sunday, is League Two. So the best referee equivalent you're going to get in the women's game is one that would be given a men's League Two game. So what we see a lot of in the women's game is really, really bizarre decisions. Like we showed some of them on that show, but also, the assistant referees are even lower levels. So you'd be looking at National League, you'd be looking at even Vanarama League level. So you do end up with some pretty rough decisions, to say the least, a lot of the time, don't we? I mean, both Maisy, yourself, and Chloe, we've been there where we've just looked at it and gone, what?
Yeah. What a bad decision actually happened in the Reading game, a couple of weeks ago, and that was actually Honor's goal, wasn't it? It got ruled out as disallowed.
Yeah, I was there. I was there. Yeah, no, I don't think you needed VAR for that. You just needed functioning eyeballs, to be honest. That was the only thing. But yeah, no, that was really bad. If anyone has a chance to see it, Google it. It's worth it, because whatever you're thinking it's bad, double it, and you're about there. It's awful. It's about a meter over the line.
Mm-hmm. And Rich had another question regarding the team. Are we doing better than expected this season? And it's a bit of a hard one, to be honest, because in some ways I would say yes, we probably are doing better than I was expecting, because we're actually in Champions League spot at the moment. Man City had dropped a lot of points at the start of the season due to injuries, though, so we should have really took the opportunities. But in some respects, I think, well, you look at games like the FA Cup and the Conti Cup, could we have got through to the finals in them kind of respects? Because we've got the team to do that. And you look at where we've had a lot of draws: Everton, Spurs, West Ham, City. You look at them kind of things, and Arsenal. I know people probably wouldn't expect the 3 points from City and Arsenal, but you look at them kind of games and think, should we have done better there to try and get the 3 points, and could we have been further up the league at that point? So I'm a little bit mixture in both, in that kind of way, to think, yes, in a way, we are doing great, but under respect, there's things that I think we could have done better, but we're still an adapting team to Mark Skinner. I think I know people have got mixed views about Matt Skinner, but I think we'll be able to see probably the best out of Matt Skinner probably next season, in my opinion, once he has that full season to adapt to the Manchester United team. But what do you think, Chloe? How do you think Manchester United's done for you?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying as well. Like, I think the way we've played, we definitely deserve to be where we are in third. But the draws that have happened and being in front in some of them games to then concede late on, that's where we keep going wrong. We're not scoring enough. We're not putting the game to bed, and we're allowing the other teams to come back and draw with us. So you've got the likes of Tottenham, West Ham, Arsenal, City. You've got them 4 games. That's nearly that. Obviously, that's 12. That's 12 points if we won them all. But we got 4 points from them. We dropped 8 points for them games, and that's a massive difference for us, especially when we've got a team that's above us who have got a game in hand, and a team below us who has a game in hand in City and in Chelsea.
Yep.
And yeah, I think if City win today's match, they go on the same points as us, but they have a lower goal difference than us, so we stay third. But with Chelsea, they've got that chance of going top, where we could have, if we had the 8 points that we lost through them games that we drew, we could have been in the title race. But now we're in the fight to stay third and to stay in that Champions League spot. And like you said, I think as well, having Mark Skinner for the transfer window in summer is going to be crucial, because he's going to know who he will want for the upcoming seasons, who he will want to keep from the current squad, and he'll know how long he's going to be there for, in terms of who he wants, and in terms of, right, I've got this far, I want players who have got the experience in Champions League, who've got the experience in winning trophies. And I think that's what it will be good to see once the season's finished, and to see what Mark Skinner brings into the team. And yeah, he's done well in getting the three players that on deadline day, but that was on deadline day. Could he have potentially got more players before deadline day? Or it's one of them. What do you think, Andy?
I mean, I think, I think we're probably where we would imagine we would be. I think Skinner has showed his skill and actually coming to his own in the second half of the season. I like to think it's because we put pressure on him a little bit. I think initially when he waltzed up in his floppy hair and his sort of like holiday mode, that he thought he could have like a nice little chill out evaluation, and he might, we could sort of make an attempt next year. But I think we made it clear very, very quickly that Man United doesn't allow that to happen. We always want to be in every game that we play. I think Skinner definitely, inherited a lot of his signings and inherited a lot of his squad. I think that it's going to be interesting to see who leaves in summer and who comes in summer. Obviously, the Euros is a help and a hindrance, in the sense of, it'd be a great experience. You'll be able to see a lot of players, do a lot of shopping. But it means, again, we're going to be late summer maybe, when any new people might come in, and then they'll need a break. If they're top class players, they might have played in the final, the semi-final, and obviously, been that further into the tournament. And then you'd be into pre-season and starting it all again. I think Skinner has now started to find his feet with Man United. You get this because he's more comfortable with conversations with fans. He's more comfortable with the media. He's more comfortable with the fact that he's Man United manager, to be honest. He looks like he's aged a bit. But I think he realizes that it is a challenge and stuff. And I think, if you had him on, he'd probably say that, that he regrets not having a trophy this season. But really, the trophy for us is third place. And that's always been the trophy since August, well, since September, really.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I suppose when we looked at last season at halfway, we was actually first place, wasn't we? But we picked up a lot of injuries and we dropped out of the top 3. So in that kind of respect, we need to be that kind of team where we're looking what's in front of us rather than continuing to look down. And I think that is better for Manchester United at this moment in time, knowing that there is a lot of different competitors in the WSL. So I do agree with what you are saying, probably that where we are is probably the right place. And if we continue to stay where we are.
Yeah, we just got to break through. I think it is just a psychological barrier. Once we break through, then, the WSL establishment, or the mainstream media channels that were saying stupid things like City are in the title race when they were 6th. They can't ignore the fact that we, by definition, is a factual definition. If we get 3rd place, we become a Champions League club.
Exactly.
It's just a factual definition. You can't get around it because we are in the 3rd position. Irrespective about whether or not, and I'm sure this wouldn't happen, we end up dropping the ball like City did in August against Madrid and get chucked out in the first time of asking, or in the sense of the year, or whether or not we make a run in the Champions League. And I think you just got to look at some quite good players that have gone to City for Champions League football. And obviously we're biased as United fans, but you just think, well, why? If you look at the support that we give, the way our team is, the age of our team, the squad time that you would get, the playing time that you would get, there's a load of players that went to sit on the bench and they fell on their arse in September. So I think if we can break through, we will get access to that higher caliber of player. Well, we will be able to make add to our higher caliber of players, and then hopefully make a sustained run in the next couple of years as a solidly top 3, 2nd place club, and hopefully get a trophy.
Yeah, completely agree. Before we say our score predictions, we'll answer Niall's question here about if the women's teams will end up playing at the whole home ground as the men's, the same home ground as the men's. And I know we did touch on it a little bit, and Andy did mention that with the amount of people who's going, it doesn't always look that good where you've only got 15,000 and it's quite empty. But I think probably when the time does come and maybe we do build on the league and we do have that funding, perhaps maybe that could be the case. But in the future, I don't know. Maybe 5 years? Do you think we could do that under?
Yeah,
it's different. It's difficult because I mean, let's look at Barcelona, for example, which are the the sort of where everyone wants to be. Yeah, they're filling out the new camp midweek, which is a bigger stadium than us actually, for a one-off game. But even the best team in the world, that trust me, they don't just beat; they pummel every league team that they play.
Destroy them.
They annihilate.
They play in a really quite a small stadium called the Stadio Johan Cruyff. So it is. Might we need a bit of a sea change to get people to build up the stadiums and get a bit bigger. I think what might be more likely in the next 5 years or so is if United redevelop the wasteland around Old Trafford and look at a bit of academy-ish stadium, academy-style stadium, because they are looking for somewhere to put their under-23 men's. And obviously, like United, they like control of everything. So if it's their own stadium, then they can control other aspects. It's better development for them as well, especially on the men's side, because are you really going to play brilliant if you're used to playing against 2,000 people, and then suddenly you get into the male first team, you're playing with 70,000 people there. They need experience of a medium-sized ground. So if you can get a bit of a smaller baby Old Trafford, if you will, that sort of sits to the side of Old Trafford now, that would solve that problem and also solve the issue we have about Lee. Because the thing about Lee as well, just to finish on this as well, honestly, people act like Lee is in outer Mongolia. It really isn't that bad to get to, honestly. I know you look on a map, you've got Manchester here and Lee's here, but you're talking to people here. Chloe Maisy is telling, we've been to places where, honestly, Kings Meadow, for example, right? That's nowhere near London. I'm not taking any other voices on that. If you look at Arsenal, I mean, geez Louise, that's basically the Watford Gap. I mean, Tottenham play at the Hive. They're all in the same position, and you could argue that Lee are Man United are in a much better position with Lee because there are free parking, quite significant levels of free parking. Yes, all right, it's only a bus, but it's obviously most easy to drive. So hopefully, one of the things about the Euros, and there will be games at the Euros at Lee, is that people actually realise that it isn't this great backwater that that has nothing there. It's a full-on professional stadium, and give it a go, and even if, and I would say one thing as well, because we are quite a big fan base and we look after each other. If you gave it a go a couple of times, like I did and other people did, 9 times out of 100, you're going to start speaking to people and you'll start getting lifts, and you'll actually make it be even easier for you to get to. Mm-hmm. So honestly, it isn't as big of a deal as people think that we play in Lee.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at Lee compared to like other grounds that you have touched on in Everton there as well, what we touched on a little bit earlier on, I think we probably have the best ground in the WSL.
Yeah.
By miles.
We do, by absolute miles, because it's a proper stadium. It's got obviously that mixture of the sort of artificial and real grass to it. We've got great facilities. I mean, if you look under the bonnet, if you will, Bournemouth Wood, Arsenal, league leaders at the moment, that is a National League ground. It just is. It's a fact. Kings Meadow, that used to be AFC Wimbledon's ground, who have actually rejected it and moved on to a different stadium in London. They're obviously second place. City have got their own grading. Well done, based on oil money, and you freeze to death in Manchester weather when you're there. And Everton is a park. And previous to that, it was Southport, which was ridiculous. It's like having Manchester United playing in Watford. Like, they were just totally too far away to make any relevance. So when you actually look at where these actual stadiums are, we have a much higher quality stadium than most. I would say, apart from Man United, the only other stadium I would say that is very strong, obviously, is like the King Power, because obviously that's the men's stadium that Leicester use. And the Reading one wasn't too bad either. The Maisy was just the people that were in it.
But they're the men's grounds, aren't they?
That's probably a different podcast anyway.
Yeah, that's the difference, isn't it? They use their men's ground, and just as we've touched on before, that it would be a good idea for Man United to actually start using Old Trafford that a little bit more. But we'll put our score predictions out anyway. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win for Manchester United. Clean sheet. I've got my trust in Mary Earps, especially with Maria back. 2 proper centre-backs, and I think Hayley Ladd will start. So, bit more advantage there for Man United to get a clean sheet. But Chloe, what's your score prediction?
I'm going to go with a clean sheet as well, and I'm going to say 4-0.
Ooh, lovely. And what about you, Andy?
Oh, why am I having 2-1? Obviously, we're going to win. I'm just thinking a clean sheet's a big ask. I hope it's a clean sheet, because I think if we went down, that would be very tough. If we went 1-0 down by a freak goal, that would be very tough at Old Trafford. And I love Mary to death, so I want to support you. Go on, I'll follow it. I'd say frustratingly 2-0.
2-0.
Because I say frustratingly because I know Skinner likes to save, work a game out. I can just see him going, right, we're 2-0 up now at Old Trafford, brilliant, and not keep pushing and get that third, fourth, fifth goal. But yeah, hopefully 2-0. But I want to be wrong. I want to be 3-0 like you guys.
Yeah. Brilliant predictions. We'll wrap it up here now. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Andy, for both coming onto the channel. If you are wanting to buy tickets for the Old Trafford game this weekend, you can go on the Man United website. And as well, Marcus Rashford has also posted about the Old Trafford game. So if you can't find the link, go to Marcus Rashford's Twitter account. You can get the link through that way as well. But thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Andy, for coming on. Chloe, would you like to shout out your socials?
Yeah, we'll do. 1 minute. My socials is in the Twitter handle. It's Chloe Riley 14.
Oh, great.
And thanks for having me on, Maisy.
It's a pleasure to have you on, Chloe. And Andy, where can we find you?
Well, people seem to be finding me, which is good. On my personal Twitter page, which is obviously at the moment at AJO_87. And with yourself, I'm privileged to be on with you on Fridays on Only One United Club, where on Friday we're looking at on our Talking Red show together. So that'll be good as well. So I'm on there as well.
Oh, great. With the Only One United, the link is in the description below, as well as Chloe and Andy's Twitter. So go and subscribe to Only One United. They're on the road to 100 subscribers. And if you're new to this channel, also give me a subscribe on Devils United, who is on the road to 600 subscribers, and hit that like button. If you are wanting to go to Old Trafford, as I say, check out Rashford's Twitter or online. If you are parking, it is roughly around £5 per ticket for the parking. So go and check that out. £11 for a day out. Come on, that's not bad at all, including parking. So check it out, and we'll see you all soon. Goodbye for now.
See ya.